as a black community right now, I don't know as to what is it that makes us unique, really. What makes us to be a community, even people from outside the country that would say, let me visit South Africa to go and learn culture. Because we no longer have that. We no longer have that.
All we're selling is pleasure.
We're selling pleasure. That's all we do. And I'm thinking that unless we change things, perhaps we are likely to sort of be destroyed as a society. And other people, like you're saying, from other communities will come in and take over.
Yes.
Maybe in terms of closing this part of our discussion, let's just go back to the political part that we started with, where we said prayer will not help us, and no one is coming to help us. We need to help ourselves. Politically, what do you think perhaps we need to do in terms of ensuring that we create or we have a political system that help us as a society? And specifically as the black community, because that's what we're focusing on today in terms of ensuring that we regain the stature and the respect that we used to have as a black community amongst other communities.
A big part of it is taking part in politics. A lot of us don't take part in politics. We're just like, that space is too dirty or whatever. But having said that, there is a rising movement of black professionals who are trying in that space. I mean, one that I can mention is the Rivonia Circle that I'm aware of, that I'm seeing. And it's trying to aggregate the black voice or black voices to rally behind policy. There's very few things we can change unless we challenge policy. And for instance, I think one of the policies that they're trying that will be written into the bill right now is about individuals standing as individuals at municipality level as well as provincial. I don't know about national as yet, but that is what.
So in other words, you're not linked to a political party. You can campaign as an individual. And get and be an independent candidate. In other words.
Because this is what people feel like. You know, like you were saying, all political parties are the same. So you wake up on the morning of going to vote, you're like, I'm tired of this particular organization, I want to go and vote for a different one. But the system is the same. And once they are within, nothing changes. So how do we change that? We've got to go and challenge policy itself at a civic level. And we can take that ownership of that process and make sure that something happens with it. But we're not doing enough. And there's not enough at a granular level, like at a community level where we're having these discussions. So we need to open those up. We need to make sure that those conversations are happening, whether it's in taverns, in churches, at a broad level, on social media, whatever tools that are out there to make sure that discussions are and awareness is taking place. Because through awareness, then we can drive education. If we're not educating people about what happens from a political sense and why politics matter in a country, then young people are going to dial out. The same black professionals we talk about that we're saying are just stagnant and focusing on pleasure in themselves is because we're not creating enough awareness. We're not creating discomfort within the spaces that they're in to show them that this affects you whether you like it or not. How politicians make decisions on our behalf and what happens next, we can look at other case studies. We can look at failed states like Zimbabwe. Our neighbors right here, and how that affects anything. We see the migration that has taken place. Over 3 million people migrating from their own country because things are not working. Why do we think that's going to be different for us? This is where we are headed unless we can change something here. And then
especially with the percentages of unemployment I personally was astounded to realize that in South Africa we have over 60% youth unemployment.
Yeah.
And these are the future citizens of the country. Sorry, I mean, I just needed to bring that in.
Yeah.
We have a serious challenge. Unless we do things and we do things differently. Now let's come to socially. What do we need to do socially? Because like I said, we have this antagonism and combativeness that exists amongst genders within the community, where we seem not to value each other. And it has resulted in breakdown of family units. It has resulted in a breakdown of what we used to know as a family. Today, there's been a redefinition of what a family is. It means me as a single parent with my kids or with my child. It's no longer a man and a woman raising kids together. And or perhaps if you look at a homosexual relationship, a man and a man or a woman and a woman in terms of lesbian and all this. But in terms of the heterosexual community, for instance, you have a situation wherein there has been a drastic redefinition of what family means. And I am not sure whether perhaps there has also been a contribution of some of the things that have been done by government. Because I personally believe that much as the grant system helps in terms of alleviating poverty, it has also had unintended consequences. Where, for instance, people have now become dependent. They're no longer willing to do things for themselves. And I'm not sure whether perhaps again whether it's a strategy by politicians to make sure that they continue to have votes by making sure that these people become very loyal to them because these people want, and grants from them and all this stuff. But personally, we have a situation, I mean, people can go again and Google the information even from Statistics South Africa and check the percentage of people that are on the grant system in terms of the country. And then check as to whether, are we talking about able-bodied people that can be economically active, or we're talking about people that are really cannot be economically active because maybe they're disabled or for another reason. And you find that the biggest percentage in terms of people that are on the grant system in terms of South African society are able-bodied people that can be economically active. But they are not. Because of reasons that we've already spoken about, but they have also now got into a state of helplessness where they've become dependent on this grant system. And unfortunately, politicians are actually using that to their advantage and saying, listen, we'll continue to extend the grant system and all this stuff because they want you to be loyal to them. So I think socially also, there are things that we also need to be actually aware of. And if you look, for instance, things like ilima, litsima, ukusebenza together. I know when, like the example that I made, where, for instance, we used to combine resources and bring our resources together and build something. When I grew up in rural areas, we used to plow a neighbor's field, go to that neighbor's field, go to that neighbor's field. Combining cattle from this house, from this house, from this house. Even in rural areas now, that is not happening. There is little difference between what you find in rural areas and what you find in the urban areas, because I think personally there has been a systematic destruction of the uniqueness of the black community. And I think for as long as we do nothing, we're heading for disaster, like you said. So that's the social part. I'm not sure if maybe there's something that you want to add on the social side.
You touch on something very important, and it affects me personally because I don't live with my kids. So the mother of my kids and I, we co-parent, and that's the new reality of South African men in general, South African black men in general. Now we've got to ask ourselves a couple of questions as to how did we get here as a society? Why did it work before, and why are we here? The rise of black women economically comes with other things, and like I said before, for people who do not have a vision, for lack of a vision, the people perish. So at a macro level, the country is not growing economically.
Yeah.
There's no demand from outside. We must make do with whatever that we have here.
Yeah.
At a micro level, at a community level, people are rising individually. It worked before because our existence was about survival. We knew that we need to stick together because we need to survive.
Yeah.
Right? Now that we don't have to stick together, that I can survive on my own, you can survive on your own, we go our separate ways, we see how we do.
Yeah.
But we don't see the at a broader picture. We don't lift our heads up and say, oh snap, if we do things this way, how does it affect everything else around us?
Yeah.
And all of us are individualistic in our focus in terms of what we are doing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to adjust to this new system,
Yeah.
but we don't have a sense of purpose and a sense of a mission for like a new goal.
Yes.
Where are we headed?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are raising kids. Why are we raising these kids? What are we going to pass on to these kids? Like what is their reality what does their society look like?
Yeah.
Should we die today or should we die tomorrow?
Yeah.
And they must exist on their own.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those challenges where we don't take a step back.
Yeah.
We don't reflect enough.
Yeah.
We're very reactive. We're not proactive in terms of what we're doing. We don't think. We don't put a vision in front and map out this vision and discuss this vision.
Yeah.
You know, we agree. There's a lot of separation that happens.
Yeah.
But okay, now that we are separated, what is our new mission? Where are we headed? Because we are still responsible to both our immediate beneficiaries, who are our kids, but also at large within black communities.
Yeah.
You are responsible for people that you haven't even given birth to. You know, you are responsible for a whole lot more.
Yeah.
That still exists.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, because more people are unemployed than ever, right? Now, what is this new vision that we have, that we are casting for the future?
Yeah.
So that people can buy into it.
Yeah.
And when you say, here's what we are going to do, they get it.
Yeah.
I don't think we're doing enough of that, where we sit down and say, we can get along together at a social level. We know what we are building for. We can still coexist in a harmonious way because we are building towards that thing. Here, there's that goal. That's what we are headed for.
Yeah.
I don't think we have enough of that right now. And there's something that can be done there. Just starting with discussions like this one that is happening here.
Yeah.
When this circle opens up a bit more and we hear what female voices are saying about how we feel, what they think about the state of men in society and what their solutions are. Because also blame culture does nothing for us unless we have proposed solutions on the table. We need to be thinking about that, and something can be done at that level. Yeah.
I think maybe lastly again in terms of this segment that we're discussing, media.
Yeah.
Media houses, I think we just need to put a challenge there.
Yeah.
That they also need to play their part in terms of the rebuilding of our society. I don't think they just need to be looking at saying this is what currently exists within the society. Therefore we need to feed back that which is happening in terms of the society. I think media houses have got a responsibility of also building the society, the type of society that we want to have, the type of society that we want to leave for our kids and also our grandkids and also generations to come.
Yeah.
Let them not focus on the fact that they need to make money now and forget about the future that you want to build as a society. And corporates that are supporting these media houses, the challenge that also we would like to put out there is the fact that corporates, please do not only fund programs because they are popular.
Yeah.
Look at those programs and look as to whether perhaps the intention is to build the society or perhaps destroy the society. Do not support programs through your adverts and all that are destroying the society.
Yeah.
Support programs that are meant to build the society.
Yeah. There's a business case for it as well. And I don't think we often put that out there enough, that the more you are supporting the self-destruction of society, the less revenue you make. Because now you have poor watchers who you know, in the rise of the digitization of even TV, people that are watching through the internet, are they paying for your services or are they sharing amongst themselves for free? So if you are not investing in this society in a way that must be uplifting and it's not sustainable, then you're going to make less money. We're seeing it even just from a taxpayer point of view that there's less taxpayers now than there were 10 years ago. And it's because the programs that are out there that are meant to empower societies and make sure that communities are uplifted are not being implemented in the right way. Instead, people are looting from the pot. And if that is happening, you are simply saying you don't care about this country moving forward.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, there's less money in the kitty. You as a company, individually, as a corporate, you're making less money every day.
Yeah.
You can see it from how you're restructuring, how people are getting retrenched. But if you invested in the sustainability of those communities and saw more people rising socially in the right way, then you're going to make more money, because then you've got more customers that are going to buy from you. So there's definitely a business case for it that we must explore and unpack. And I think that's the voice that needs to emerge more for the traditional mindset of corporates, where they want to hear ROI. The ROI here is that you're going to exist in 10 years' time.
Yes.
But if you continue on this current trajectory of how things are happening, you're not going to exist in 10 years' time. And what does your future look like if you do not exist?
I think maybe in terms of closing this discussion, we started this discussion by saying that prayer is not going to help us. We need to do more than just pray. We need to have a deep sense of purpose in terms of changing things in terms of our society, and become a purpose-driven community, purpose-driven society.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help us.
Yeah.
And I think what we have covered in terms of this discussion goes a long way in terms of us addressing some of the social needs and challenges that we have as a community, from political level to economic level to also to social aspects. And I think that if really we can, as a black community, take talks or conversations like the ones that we have to heart and really think about it, and wherever we are, we actually form small groups, and we then decide how we're going to uplift this community or this society where we are. And gradually we will combine, just like the Afrikaners have done, and sort of uplift our society and take ourselves out of this mud that we find ourselves, and this river where we seem to be sinking, all of us. So maybe in closing, what is it that maybe you would like to close with in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that prayer is not enough. It plays its role. You know, spirituality is very important. I believe in it. But South Africa is a nation of imbizos, or a nation of conferences. We organize talks to talk about talks, you know. And it's time to rise. It's time to take action. It's time to take some of the things that we've already concluded on, that we've identified, you know, that this is where society is and this is how we can change it. And we must start acting on it, you know, and we can, you know. Without unity, there's something to be said for people coming together for a common purpose. Let's find our common purpose. Let's identify, let's have a manifesto for the people that ensures that we can act on something, because people need to be led. And without a vision, you cannot lead people. Thank you.
Lebo, thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you taking time to come to talk to me about your views in terms of what we've discussed, and I hope the viewers out there have benefited from the discussion that we've had, and they will not just benefit, but they will act on the things that we spoke about.
Thank you.
We are certainly not advocating for an insurrection, but we, however, advocating for a situation wherein we get involved in terms of making our society, our communities, and our country better. Thank you for your time.